Players and coaches alone don't win championships, that organizations do.
Granted, I think organizations put together teams, but at the end of the day, the teams got to go out and play. I think the players win the championship.
The Chicago Bulls have won their 6th NBA championship, and it's their second three-peat.
June 14th, 1998, Chicago Bulls, NBA champions. 6 titles, 8 years, one of the greatest dynasties in basketball history. 60 days later, it was over. Not because of injury, not because of age, not because the players wanted to leave. Because one man decided organizations win championships, not players. Jerry Krause built arguably one of the greatest dynasties in NBA history. Then he personally dismantled it. And the financial cost of that decision to the players, to the franchise, to everyone who loved what those 8 years produced has never been fully calculated until now. Before we show you what was destroyed, we show you what existed. Michael Jordan arrived in Chicago in 1984 with a promise that he would make them champions. He kept it 6 times.
I said then when I got here in this city that we would be champions by the time I leave.
But Jordan did not build the dynasty alone. Jerry Krause, 5'6", overweight, obsessive, brilliant, assembled every piece around him. In 1987, he pulled Phil Jackson from the CBA and made him an assistant. In 1988, he drafted Scottie Pippen 5th overall.
The Seattle Supersonics select Scott Pippen of Central Arkansas.
Piece by piece, he constructed the most commercially successful sports franchise the world had ever seen. 1,796%. That is what Jerry Krause's dynasty was worth to Jerry Reinsdorf's investment. $16.2 million in 1985. $307 million when Jordan walked off the court in Salt Lake City for the last time as a Bull. Not because of the real estate market, not because of the television deal alone. Because of what those 6 championships built. A global brand, a sellout streak, a commercial engine that had never existed in professional basketball before, and has not existed since. And then Jerry Krause decided it was enough. Before the dynasty ended, the financial architecture had already been extracting from the people who built it. Before we get to the dismantling, we need to examine what the dynasty cost the people inside it, because the financial architecture we have documented across this series did not wait until 1998 to extract from the Chicago Bulls. It was extracting the entire time. Scottie Pippen, 1997 to 98. The second best player on the greatest team in basketball history. 7-time All-Star. Named one of the 50 greatest players in NBA history in 1996. The man Phil Jackson described as maybe the number 2 player in the NBA and called his value immense. His salary $2,775,000. 122nd in the league. Olden Polynice, a journeyman center who played for 5 teams across his career and never made an All-Star game. He made $835,000 more than Scottie Pippen in the season Pippen won his 6th championship. This is not a footnote. This is the individual maximum contract and the salary cap architecture functioning precisely as designed, suppressing the market value of even the most transcendent players in the sport. Jackson said it was embarrassing. Reinsdorf said he knew Pippen was underpaid and that Pippen would eventually feel it. His exact words to Pippen before the contract was signed. Reinsdorf knew, Krause knew, the contract was signed anyway, because the salary cap made it legal, because the escrow system made it rational, because the individual maximum, the instrument we broke down in episode 2, meant that no matter how much Pippen was worth to the franchise, the ceiling was set before he ever laced up his shoes. Pippen spent the entire second three-peat earning less than players who couldn't carry his jersey bag. And then Jerry Krause used that frustration, Pippen's entirely justified financial anger, as one of the justifications for dismantling what they had built together. Here is what makes the Krause decision different from every other front office mistake in the series. Donald Sterling was a racist whose league protected him for financial reasons. Isaiah Thomas was incompetent and burned the franchise from the inside. Jerry Krause was neither. He was the man who built the dynasty. He knew exactly what he had, and he chose to end it anyway. Those 7 words are the most expensive sentence in the history of professional basketball. Not because they were wrong. Organizations do matter, Krause proved it, but because of what they were used to justify. 13 wins, then 17, then 15. The defending champions of the universe, the franchise that had gone to the finals 6 times without losing once, produced 3 consecutive seasons among the worst records in league history. Not because the talent disappeared, because one man decided that the organization was more important than the dynasty it had created. Jordan would have come back, he said so explicitly, for Phil Jackson, for one more championship, for the chance to complete something that had never been done in the history of the sport, a 3rd three-peat. Krause did not offer Jackson the contract.
Well, if I'm not coming back, my office is clean, so it's great. I don't have to make an extra trip down to the United Center and bust it down on the expressway. But we plan, this is our last year.
Let's do the architecture. Because Beyond the Buzzer does not traffic in what-ifs without the financial documentation to support them. We're going to put a number on what Jerry Krause's decision cost. Not speculatively, architecturally. Phil Jackson, thrown away by Krause, he joined the Los Angeles Lakers immediately. He won 3 consecutive championships. Then he went to New York. Then he returned to coaching. The man Krause said was replaceable won 11 championships in total, more than any coach in NBA history. 6 of them were with Krause's players. 5 more came after Krause threw him away. The franchise is worth $5.8 billion today, 28 years without a championship. The market rewarded the brand that Jordan built, not the competitive product Krause dismantled, which means Reinsdorf has collected nearly $6 billion in franchise appreciation on an asset whose commercial engine stopped running in 1998. The Jordan brand, which did $2.6 billion in shoe sales in 2014 alone, still sells. The championships still sell. The legacy still sells. What Krause built still sells. What Krause destroyed still costs. 35,702% return on a $16 million investment, built entirely on what Jerry Krause assembled and what Michael Jordan executed. The financial instrument Reinsdorf purchased in 1985 is now worth $5.8 billion because of 6 championships that ended in 1998. The dynasty is gone. The financial legacy of the dynasty is not. Jerry Krause died on March 21, 2017. He never won another championship after 1998. The rebuild he chose the dynasty for produced nothing. Tim Floyd, the coach he hired to replace Phil Jackson, went 49 wins and 190 losses before resigning. The first-round picks he accumulated in the dismantling produced no stars. The dynasty he sacrificed to prove that organizations win championships never produced another organization-built championship. 28 years, the Chicago Bulls have not returned to the NBA Finals since Jerry Krause decided that Phil Jackson was gone regardless of what happened. The players he thought were replaceable, Jordan, Pippen, Rodman, Kerr, went on to win more championships elsewhere. The coach he thought was replaceable went on to win 5 more.
Phil was going to be there, Dennis was going to be there, MJ was going to be there. To win our 7th, Pip is not going to miss on out on that.
The organization he prioritized over the dynasty never built another one. He was proud of 6 championships. He could have had 8 or 9. Phil Jackson said so. Michael Jordan said so. The roster said so. The only person who disagreed was the one person with the authority to stop it. So, why did Jerry Krause end the dynasty? Option 1, ego. Option 2, financial. Option 3, control. Jerry Krause took the real answer with him. He died in 2017, still defending a decision that produced nothing he promised and cost everything he built.
Basketball Hall of Famer and former Bulls general manager, Jerry Krause.
When Jerry Krause's name was called and the people that booed Jerry Krause and his widow who was accepting this honor for him, it was the worst thing I've ever seen in my life.
The dynasty is gone. The question of why remains open. And unlike the Donald Sterling case where the federal documents tell you exactly what happened, there is no filing, no deposition, no sworn testimony that closes this loop. There is only the record, 13 wins, 17 wins, 15 wins. and 6 championship banners hanging in the United Center built by the man who ended the dynasty, honoring the players he decided to replace. 0 championships since the man who built it decided to end it. Most people remember the last shot. We read the contracts that made sure there would never be another one. We read the fine print so you don't have to.